And we are live. Welcome everybody to Wednesday Night Fish Talk. How's everybody doing? Our guest tonight is Mike from Florida Fish Rescue. How are you doing tonight?
I'm good, brother. How you doing, man?
Not bad, not bad. Now, while people start coming in, I'll start asking you the simple questions, and then we'll let the crowd, to start asking you some questions and
Sure,
everything.
sure.
But
Shoot. Hey, thanks for having me on, by the way. I appreciate it.
No, I appreciate it, man. I appreciate your time. I say that to everybody. I really appreciate their time. Giving me an hour of their time and letting me interview you and get to know you and everything. And I like opening my platform to other channels and other fish related stuff. And actually, when I got to know who you were, I didn't even know you had a channel. I just saw you on Facebook
Yeah, well,
recently.
nobody knows I have a channel at the moment, so it's okay too.
So yeah, it's a very, very new channel and everything. I saw the videos after when I found it, and everything, and I watched your videos and stuff. But the whole reason why I brought you here is because you're doing something different than most people in the hobby. Most people keep fish because they want to breed them or they just want to keep fish and stuff like that. And you're actually helping, the ecosystem, and you're helping in the hobby, and you're running a whole fish rescue. And I thought that was very interesting.
Yeah, we're trying, man. I didn't really get into this because I wanted to keep fish. I got into this because other people didn't want to keep fish, you know,
Hmm.
or did want to keep fish but couldn't, So we just kind
Hmm.
of ended up being the exception to the rule. I don't. I'm not trying to stock a tank. There's a lot of people out there that are like, yeah, I'll take your fish because you have a certain kind of fish I want. Well, we don't work that way. I'll take the goldfish. I'll take the tetras that nobody wants. I'll take the little guys that people aren't really interested in because I'm here for the fish. I'm not really here for stocking fish, and
Hmm.
I like these guys. That's why they're here. Um, and there's a real ecological issue with in Florida, especially. We have more invasive species than any other state in the
Oh
union,
yes.
and
Yep.
Texas cichlids. You can go through this long list of fish that are invasive species, and they became invasive species because somebody didn't know what to do with their fish. You know,
Hmm.
somebody had a ghost knife, and so down in Miami they dumped a couple of ghost knife in a lake, and now the entire lake is nothing but ghost knives, and they're paying you to go kill them. We don't need
Hmm.
that. So I really wanted to be a safe harbor so that people didn't have to do that. And I mean, people don't do that because they're bastards. They do that because they don't have another option. You know, people aren't like, oh,
Yeah.
let me go throw my fish in the river. They're not. Most people just go, I'm evicted and I've got these fish and I don't want to kill them. I can't bring myself to hit them with a hammer. So what am I going to do with
Hmm.
them? Well, they take them out and throw them in a river. And that's I get it. My heart goes to that, but it's not good for Florida.
No.
So we just wanted to be the exception to the rule and let people, I don't care what kind of fish it is. I really don't. I'm not here for stocking my tanks to say I got the prettiest fish in the world. I don't care. I just want fish to be healthy and I want them to be safe. And if we can find homes that people want them, great. If we can't, then we'll spend $1 million a year feeding them. But we're really, just not in this to collect fish. It was accidental, and I got to tell you, some of the stuff we've been donated is amazing. The tank behind me, that saltwater tank back there, was
Yeah.
donated. The big 150 sitting here was donated. The 150 back there with the iridescent sharks in it was donated. The tank there with the koi and the goldfish in it donated. In fact, there's only one tank in this place that I've actually purchased because people are like, well, if you're going to take my fish, take the damn tank too. So we do,
Yeah.
and put the tank up, and we make them safe. And now, like I told you before, I got a big 400 sitting right here. That's going to be amazing when I can get it set up. I can take in all sorts of stuff that I couldn't take in before. But
Hmm.
it's a process. It's a process. Anyway, I'm talking
I
and you're
bet it,
not. It's your show,
I
brother. I'm
bet
sorry.
it is a process. No, I'm reading right now in the comments. We got RB Animals and Collectibles. How you doing? Fairlinks, thank you for joining us. RGB Aquatics saying hello to both. Hello, how you doing?
How's it going, guys?
I hate stupid people. How you doing tonight? Now, since right now we're in the whole fish rescue, but I want to go back a little bit into your life. Like, how long have you been keeping fish? Has this been a hobby for you before you got into the rescue for a
Yeah,
while,
it was
or?
it was a hobby. I mean, we had little fish. You know, we had a little tank with little fish. I think the biggest tank we had before the rescue was a grand total of a 20-gallon with some
Mhm.
weird ass little fish in it, and um, catfish that people told us were sharks that weren't. You know, and we kept them for years, and we enjoyed them, and they were great. And we learned a lot. You know, nothing like we've learned in the last year and a half, mind you, but we learned a lot. And keeping fish was just it's just a fun thing. It's still a fun thing. Don't get me wrong. It is still a lot of fun, but now it's a lot of work too. So,
Now, how long have you been running this rescue now?
well, the rescue itself became an official 501(c) back in November or I'm sorry, end of October. Um, we've been running the rescue since prior to that, back in I guess we really started in February is when we got the first tank in and decided we were going to start allowing people to drop fish off. So I mean, we're pretty new at this. I mean, as far as the rescue side of it is concerned, but my wife and I, we're hard studies. You know, you put something in front of us, we're going to be experts on it in a week if we can help it, and we're going to keep going until we know everything there is to know. And we've learned an awful lot. You know, we've made a few mistakes here and there. I've lost a couple of fish now and then that just is heartbreaking. But now we're literally doing surgery on catfish and hospital tanking Texas cichlids, and we've got a pretty good track record now of keeping guys alive, and that's what we do, man. We just like the fish, you know.
Hmm. Now, what's been the toughest fish that has came to you?
Probably the green spotted puffers. Green
Hmm.
spotted puffers are really delicate, just really, and they're tough little fish once they grow up. But when they're juveniles, they're just really tough. You got to start them in fresh water. You got to work them up to brackish water and eventually to salt water. They have no scales, so any medications are going to affect them really strangely. They're a little aggressive. They don't eat the same stuff you would expect them to eat. I mean, green spotted puffers can be tricky, and I think that's been probably the trickiest fish we've ever had, with the exception of this red tail catfish I got outside right now that I can't get to eat. So,
Hmm.
and he's giving me
That's a big
fits,
one.
brother. He's a big boy, and I just can't get him to eat. I even gave him some live food the other day to see if he would chase down some live fish, and he left them alone too. So I don't know what the trick is with this guy. We're going to try garlic oil on his tilapia fillets tomorrow and see if maybe that makes a difference. But just can't get him to
Too, with
eat.
the cold weather, he might not be eating because there's cold weather going on.
I think so.
You
I
know?
think so. But still, I mean, we're going on a week now where he hasn't put any food away, and that cold weather or not, that bothers me. And I don't know what else to do other than hit him with a little bit of garlic oil, which I don't want to do either because it makes him anemic in the long run. But if I can get it to just get his attention and get him eating, then I will. But
You left that live food in the tank with him?
no, actually, it was some Texas cichlids that are from my Texas cichlid tank, and threw them in there, and they're good. They're swimming around. They're fine. They're happy campers now. Going to be big Texas cichlids in another couple of months. Right now, they're about this big, but
He might eat them if you left them in there.
man, if he eats them, it'll be a crying shame on one hand, but I'll know he's fed on the other. So, I feel it either way. I feel like he's got to eat something, and if he does, he does, and if he doesn't, he doesn't. And
Yep.
it looks to me like I'm probably going to have big Texas cichlids in a couple of months at this rate, which I'm okay with. I like those guys.
Okay. Now, what other stuff you have?
We got all sorts of stuff. I mean, there's gouramis in here that have come to us kind of one by one. There's 4 of them. We've got tetras down there, angel tetras. We've got tons of snails. We've got some plants growing. Back there, we've got a koi tank that was 6 koi for the longest time, and now all of a sudden it's 6 koi plus plus 6 standard goldfish that are all about 7 inches apiece. And they might be a little overstocked, but they seem to be getting along okay. And then back there's some iridescent sharks and a clown knife and a I forget what kind of catfish he is. He's yep, can't remember exactly the name. Anyway, then over here we've got a Pleco that's about yay big, and 3 Oscars and a lot of there's a couple of Texas cichlids in there. And there's an interesting tidbit. So I've got Texas cichlids over there. I've got Texas cichlids over here. Both of whom came from the same brood. Now there's about 25 of them, I guess, over in this tank over here, and they're all about that big. The 3 that I moved over into this 150 are all about that big. Same brood, same fish, just these guys had a little more space and have decided to grow. So yeah, I find that interesting. By the way, this is my wife, Heather, who works.
How you doing? Oh, now you're live. Everybody just saw you.
And she just rolled in to tell me that it's a vulture catfish, because apparently I couldn't remember, and so she's doing her job and telling me to remember stuff. Yeah. And then, of course, I guess outside I forgot about the Paco and the catfish out there too. So there's those guys hanging out in the outside.
Yep. You just got those Pacos not too long ago, right?
Yeah, Pacos just came in, I guess, 2 weeks ago now, and they're good. They're healthy, man. They eat. They love grapes. They love broccoli. They have some tilapia. They like bananas. Who knew? But they do just fine. The only guy I'm concerned about right now is that catfish. He's right next to him, and he's just not eating. But those guys, they do just fine. And I like them. They're friendly.
About how big are they?
Oh God, they're what, 18 inches maybe? Maybe 20. Some of them. They're big guys. There's 6 of them. And the fellow that surrendered them, he raised them from when they were about that big, and he was heartbroken to give them up, but they were getting evicted, so he didn't have a choice. I guess his landlord came in and said, you were either evicted or you get rid of the fish, and crappy deal, but I guess that's the way it goes sometimes.
Well, did he have a pond or did he have a tank?
He had 2 ponds. They were in his garage, and I think she was afraid that insurance was going to cancel them because the ponds were in there. But, so. Yeah, and I guess they probably could. They don't like water features. The insurance people, as soon as you put a water feature on your property, they're like, that'll be an extra $10,000 a year. So. But
yeah,
so that's how that went.
That's how when you're renting. You got to go by their way, or you get kicked out.
Yeah. And I mean, they've been there forever. Apparently, I guess the kid brought them. He brought them from Homestead, and they've been in that same place for like 4 or 5 years. The landlord didn't seem to care, but now all of a sudden cares, trying to sell the house or something, So anyway, that's how it happens. That's how we end up with fish. People call us and go, "Dude, I'm screwed. Help!" And so we come help.
That's a lot of stories you hear, huh?
Yeah, that one was a drive all the way across the state. We drove all the way over to Port St. Lucie, which is a good 3.5 hour drive across the middle of the state, which, by the way, is a scary place. And picked them up and brought them back, and they were a little roughed up from the trip, but they were okay.
You say it was a scary place?
Yeah, I don't like the middle of the state. The middle of Florida scares me. I don't like it. Stick to the coast, man. There's creepy people out there.
Now you got to tell me why. Why are you afraid to?
The middle of the state, man. It reminds me of Wrong Turn. Like every time I drive into the middle of the state, I feel like I'm in like the middle of West Virginia, and that they've got teenagers tied up in those barns or something. I don't know. It just scares me. I don't like it. It's not a place I want to hang out.
Oh, that's why I like being out in the country more than being in the city. Oh man, be gone in the middle of nowhere.
Well, I mean, I like to visit it. I just don't want to stay there. Yeah, I'll drive through. It's pretty. It's beautiful, but I'm not for staying. I'm not for staying. I'm a city boy at heart. I was born in Brooklyn originally. Not that Bradenton is really city. I mean, Bradenton's a little podunk, little podunk town. Oh my God, the commissioners right now are screaming, "Don't call our town a podunk town," but it is. It's a little podunk town. So, but it is only a few minutes from the coast.
So you're from New York, huh? From the big city, huh? What brought you down
Originally, family, you know, the same old story. My family moved down here when I was really young, and I ended up here. You know, I basically grew up here in this same little tiny ass town, but the city
here?
still flows in my blood. I don't like to get I don't like to get too far outside of town. It freaks me out. But I like people around. If it's too quiet, I don't know. I think Jason's going to come out of a lake or something. I don't like it so quiet. But it's all good.
Now, earlier you was telling me about the fish you have with a bladder problem. Tell me a little bit more about that.
Well, so it's a short-bodied Texas cichlid. He was, I guess, he initially was in a tank with a turtle and totally green slime-coated tank. And one of our volunteers actually rescued him up in St. Pete and got him out of the tank, got him into a bin, and then my son picked him up and drove him down here. And we've had him for, I don't know, 4 or 5 months now. And he was doing pretty well, but he's really antisocial. Like the turtle nipped his fin, so he was kind of scary of everybody. And I couldn't put him in a tank with anybody. Even goldfish attacked him. And it wasn't that he was vicious. Other fish attacked him. Like I put him in the cichlid tank with the other cichlids, and within a minute and a half, every cichlid in that tank was attacking. And I had to yank him out instantly and put him back in his own tank. And then I tried him in the koi tank because he's such a passive guy. I thought maybe he'd be okay in the koi tank. You know, he wouldn't attack them. But I'll be damned if the koi didn't attack him. He got attacked by freaking koi. Like that's not even possible, right? So I had to put him in his own 40-gallon, and he's been in that 40-gallon ever since. But he was just one day, and actually somebody came over and wanted to adopt him, and they came in and we talked about him. But he was being weird, and he was kind of staying near the top of the tank, which he doesn't normally do. And within a day or so, we realized that he had a swim bladder infection. So we instantly got him out of the 40-gallon, put him in the living room where my wife could put, you know, care on him, medicated him a little, got some salt on him, you know, all the things you do to try and take care of a swim bladder infection. And it just hasn't improved. She actually hand swims him, right? So every day, about 3 times a day, we've got a bottle in there that he can kind of lean against that keeps him from floating upside down. And he does. He puts himself back behind the bottle and he hangs out there and he's okay. But every day, about 3 times a day, she goes in for about an hour and she actually holds him in her hand and lets him swim and, you know, just to get him some exercise. And then I hold him, you know, towards the end of the night, I hold him and she gets green peas and she literally just drops little bits of green pea down into his mouth so he can swallow it, hoping that the green pea will eventually clear up the swim bladder infection. But so far to no success. And unfortunately, he's looking a lot better yesterday than he is today. And I don't know, it's stressing us. I got a little sadness going on because I'm not sure he's going to make it, but we're trying. We're doing everything we can. I hate losing fish. Nothing makes me angrier than losing fish. But I don't know. Maybe he'll pull through. We're gonna keep trying.
Trying. Hopefully, man. And I see that big old Oscar right in the back of you. That's the photobomb Oscar.
This guy, yeah. Actually, this is Suicide Owl. Suicide Owl likes to jump out of the tank from time to time, and so I always have to make sure that there's a cover on for him. If I forget it, he'll instantly try and jump out. No, and actually, yeah, he photobombs a lot too. Do you see this Pleco here? Do you see him? Is he visible?
Yeah.
That whole big brown thing right there is a Pleco. But yeah, he likes to show up. And there's one of the cichlids back here too. My big mean Oscar fella is back there. I moved him to the back of the fish room, and he's now kind of back off into the secondary room there. Because for some reason, if he's out and he's in public all the time, you know, public being us, but if he's out here, he gets really agitated, and he gets pissed, and his skin turns white and or gray rather, and he just gets grumpy. But if he's back there, nobody's messing with him, and he seems to be okay, other than when I go to feed him and he wants to try and bite my arm off. But he's actually a sweetheart. I love that guy. I do. He was actually the very first Oscar in this house. His name is Meyer, by the way, just in case you like the pun. But he's a good fish. I like him too. I like the ones with attitudes. I like the ones that have a little something going.
How many Oscars you got?
Let's see. There's a really big fella sitting over there. He's about, I guess he's 16 inches. And then the other one back there, he's also about 16 inches. And then there's three in this tank. There's Suicide Owl, and then there's Alan Pinkerton over there. Alan and Pinkerton. We like the pun names. I'm sorry, it just happens. But yeah, they're
I'm
cool guys.
surprised we only got 4 with how many Oscar problems we have down here. That's why I was asking about how many you have, because everybody likes to get Oscars, but when they get too big, they have to get rid of them.
Well, I mean, we're just now really getting found. People are starting to call us. It's only been in the last 3 weeks that people have actually been picking up their phone and going, "Hey, I got fish that need to be rescued." We've had to go chase people down before then, and so we probably have not hit our quota of Oscars yet. Though I have no doubt we'll probably end up with a whole bunch of them at some point. Yeah, but we've got the pools outside too.
That's what I was gonna say. I see in your future a big pool with like 20 Oscars in there. That's what I see in your future.
I don't doubt it. I don't doubt it. I don't doubt it. And I'm okay with that. I like Oscars. Oscars are probably my favorite fish, man. They're so friendly, and they want to visit with you, and they wag their tails like little puppy dogs when you show up. I like them. So.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you which one's your favorite fish. But now, out of all the fish you have right now, do you have a favorite out of all of them?
It's weird. The answer to that is no. Do I have some that I feel more for because they're in a perilous situation? Yes. So like Sam is my heart right now. That Texas cichlid that's in trouble is my heart right now. When he's well, hopefully well, then he'll probably go back to being a happy fish on his own for the next guy that's in trouble that needs help. Right. And I kind of feel that way about the red tail outside right now too. I can't get him to eat. So he's always on my mind, and so the answer to who's my favorite is whoever happens to be the sickest at the moment that really needs help. That's how it seems to work out. And the other guys are just hanging out being fish, but the people that need us, or I say people because fish are people too, but the fish that need us, those always seem to be the ones that weigh on my heart the most, and of course they're the ones that are my favorite at the moment because I've really got to put energy into them. So.
Army and Animal Collector say, I'm thinking about getting some Oscars for my 150-gallon pond. Well, if you're in Florida, hit him up. He got like 5 right now ready for you.
I do have Oscars. I do have Oscars.
You'll be full pretty soon and everything.
But
now,
you know what?
If you're doing a rescue, and go ahead.
Yeah, you go ahead, brother. I was interrupted anyway.
Now I was gonna say, I know this is a rescue, and you're not buying fish. Fish are coming to you.
Yeah.
But I was wondering, do you have a dream fish? Do you have a fish that you always wish you could have and haven't had?
I can't wait till somebody comes to me and says, "I've got 2 silver arowana that you need to put in your 400." That's it. That's really my only dream fish, and I wouldn't even go so far as to say it's my dream fish. It's my wife's dream fish. So for me, my dream fish is whoever needs me at the moment. For my wife, though, she's got this thing with those arowanas. She loves them. She thinks they're just beautiful fish, and they are. So they'll, at some point, somebody's going to come along and go, "Please take this arowana," and they're going to end up in this big 400 sitting here.
Yeah, I'm surprised you don't have that.
Oh, and dog-faced puffers. I forgot the dog-faced puffers, of course.
The dog-faced puffer. Okay.
They are amazing, though. I love those guys. They are so freaking cute. Man, they're one of the cutest fish I've ever seen. And I like cute fish. Like there's back here, there's this French angelfish, and that thing's got a face that just kills. It's the cutest damn fish in the world. You look at him, and he's got these big doughy eyes, and he's just a sweetheart. I love that fish. But those dog-faced puffers are something, man. Yeah, that's saltwater behind me. Saltwater, right? It is. Yeah.
No corals in there.
No. There's another saltwater over there, a smaller one that's just got some. Right now, it's just got some clownfish in it, some maroon clownfish. That I love those guys, but my keep up all the minerals that are absolutely necessary to keep a coral tank going. I just don't have time for it. So I really haven't put that much energy into it to make sure that corals are growing. And if somebody comes along and says, I've got a coral or a tank that's got corals in it that needs to be saved, then I will go through all the work that it takes to make sure that tank is pristine and ready for them. But until that day, as long as my fish are happy, I'm okay. Like I said, I don't keep them to keep them. I keep them because they get brought here, because they need somebody. So that's how it comes with me, is that, somebody at some point is going to go, I got this coral tank and I have to get rid of it. Can you take it in? And I'm going to go, yeah, all right, well, fine. And when that happens, we'll make sure that the tank is ready for them. But for the time being, everybody's happy in the tanks they're in, and I don't have to go through all the process of adding all the minerals and making sure that all the water parameters are right, and all the lights are right and all that stuff. Saltwater's tough.
Yeah, saltwater is. I will never get into saltwater. I like the way it looks, but at this moment, or now I won't say never, but at this moment, I won't do any saltwater.
Yeah. Well, listen, I love my saltwater fish, but I'm not getting into the corals thing unless somebody, like I said, unless somebody forces me to, because they brought them here. The fish tanks are great, and those I don't have to do anything to those. I do a water change once in a while. I've got perfect balance in the sumps that are underneath them. There's seagrass growing in the sumps, which keeps all that working right. There's bioballs down there. I've got just the right amount of flow. All I ever have to do really is top them off once in a while. So, as long as it stays that way, I'm perfectly happy with saltwater. It's just when you start trying to grow all the damn corals that you got to have the right lights. You got to have this blue light for that coral, and you got to have that white light for that coral, and you got to have this much magnesium and this much calcium. And
yeah.
Only if I have to, man.
It gets way more complicated with saltwater. Yeah, it does.
Yeah, it does. Well, I lost an anemone, and that hurt. That hurt. I hated losing him. That sucked. It totally sucked. And since that point, I went, okay, no more corals. But actually, I take that back. There are a couple of, what do they call them? African trees. They're these all flowy, funky brown looking animals that grow out of the sand. There's a couple of those over there, and they do okay. But
that's neat.
yeah, they're cool looking things, man. They look like I don't know how to explain it. Anyway, they look like trees.
Your Pleco's,
but they like dirty water. What's that?
Your Pleco's starting to take over the show. He's showing up now. Look at him.
Oh, is he?
Oh, yeah.
What's up, Mrs. Big? How you doing, sweetie? Here come one of the Texas cichlids. I don't know if he'll show his face enough or not.
Yeah, I've seen like a few of them just swim by, and then he came out more.
Yeah, there's 4 of them
now,
in this tank, and they get along just fine.
What got you into opening your YouTube channel? Because I just, I was talking about that earlier. It's a fairly new channel.
Yeah.
And everybody check it out. Go subscribe to this channel. But kind of what got you into doing that?
For what we do, you've got to have an outlet. People need to know what it is you're doing, and you have to have some way to explain to people what it is you're doing. And
okay.
And it really didn't start as a fun thing for me. My first intention with it was just to make sure that people understood what the hell it is that we do around here. But I discovered that I can do some interesting things, like when we were taking care of finless. Finless is the green-spotted puffer, the first green-spotted puffer that came to us, and he actually had his fins nipped off by a blue crawfish, so he was finless, literally. He had his two side fin, or I'm sorry, his dorsal fin, his anal fin, and his tail nipped off. He had the two side fins, so he kind of swam in weird circles. And I realized that I could teach people what it's like to have a fish that isn't in perfect condition, and the work and emotion that goes into making sure that fish gets better. And so as soon as I realized I could do that, I started realizing that was probably what our channel was going to evolve into. And I'll throw other stuff in there too. When we're like, for instance, I think I threw something up about the hot water heater that all these people on Facebook came together to help us get. And I'll throw that sort of stuff up too. But I really, as we take in these fish that aren't well, I really want to show people the process and the work that it takes to get these fish better, so that they understand that they can do it too. So it's not just a matter of, oh, I've got a sick fish, I'm going to let him die. You know, maybe they'll feel like through the struggles we go through to keep these fish alive that they can get their hands dirty too and get in there and make sure they've got the right medications or, you know, switch them out and salt wash them and all the things you have to do to get a sick fish feeling better. And I think we're probably going to do a lot more of those videos as time goes on, as well as the, you know, I call it the daily life of a fish rescue. So.
Yeah, you stay busy. you stay busy with
yeah,
dealing with
man,
that
all
many
the time.
tanks, and especially they need special attention constantly.
Yeah, well, we take a lot of sick fish, so yeah, they.
Now, Now let's get to Finless and everything. How he's doing? I mean, you said he had most of his fins taken off of him.
He didn't make it. He didn't make it. We kept him. We kept him healthy and fine and in really good shape for about 3.5 months, and he still had the wounds that were healing up, and he was actually starting to grow a tail back, and he got hit with that white cotton disease. And the problem with the white cotton is that you can't. With a puffer, you can't treat it properly because you can't get high enough concentrate of the medication to get rid of the white cotton without damaging their skin. So we tried this balance for a couple of days, trying to get rid of the white cotton and not harm him with the skin. But he finally just one day gave up the ghost, and it was. Man, it was heartbreaking. My wife probably, if you bring up the name and she can hear, will probably still cast a tear over it. That was a rough one. I think that was probably the worst fish loss I've ever had. It was horrible. But
no, man, that's hard to hear.
It is. But in this hobby, you're going to lose them once in a while, especially considering that we're a rescue. We take them in as beat up as they can possibly be and try and nurse them back to health. And sometimes we win, and sometimes we don't. That particular case, unfortunately, we really thought we had it. We really thought we won that one. And then along comes white cotton, which, if you're familiar with that I think it's a bacteria. There's just not a damn thing you can do about it. It's just really tough to get rid of it. I take that back. You can get rid of it, but in a fish that's a pretty hardy, scaly fish, it's not that hard. But if you've got a puffer whose skin you can't hit with too much medication, it becomes really, really hard. And I think maybe I could have, I think back on it, and I think maybe I could have raised his salt to marine levels, and that might have killed it off. And because he's capable of living in salt water, maybe with a little bit of luck, I might have been able to beat it that way. But I didn't know that at the time, and cast it to a learning experience, unfortunately, and a really sad learning experience. But it happens. It happens.
Now we get some good people coming in. We got more people coming in. I want to say hi to Zach. Your niece is here. She said Uncle Mike showed them the fish. Elizabeth.
No, Liz, I'm not going to walk the phone around. I'm sorry.
Vinny. We got Vinny in the house. Everybody else is here. Hi, stupid people. Thank you for joining us. Well, if y'all just joining us right now, I see a few people just came in. This is Mike, and he runs Florida Fish Rescue, and we're just talking about some of the stories of some of the fish that he has rescued and what kind of got him into the hobby and everything. And he got some really cool stuff on your channel. That's why I was asking you what got you into doing the channel, because not only is a promotional tool, it's an educational tool, to keep showing people how to take care of fish. And you're dealing with probably some of the worst fish coming in and trying to get them into good shape. And it's a good thing to show people what you go through, to get these fish back going and everything.
Yeah, that's our hope, man.
And he says,
we really want to just...
Vinny says he's been watching your channel.
Around. Hey, Vinny.
Vinny's a good guy. How you doing, man? But now, what's your goal now? How big you want to get? What really?
Man, we're gonna grow until we can't anymore. We're gonna grow until we can't anymore. I mean, I don't have a goal. Honest to God, if it comes to a point where we have a full blown aquarium, then we have a full blown aquarium. I mean, as long as fish are coming and they need a place to go, we're gonna grow with that. As long as we can afford to. I mean. Like I said, I had a tech business that I've completely walked away from in order to do this, and I can tell you right now, it hurts. It hurts on the money side, but again, that's not why we got in this. You know, we got in this because we wanted to make a difference, and so here we are making a difference. And as long as we can, we will. You know, if there comes a day where we can't, then I guess we won't. But as long as there are good people that are out there helping us, and as long as we can keep it up, we'll keep it up. And my goal is just to make sure that every fish that needs a place to go has one.
Yeah, talking about help everybody. You know, if you ever want to figure out how to help Mike out with the rescue, if you're near Florida with adopting a fish, anything like that, you can find them on Facebook and on YouTube. That's the only platforms you use. It's just Facebook and
no, also on Twitter. Also on Twitter.
Oh, on Twitter. Yeah, Florida Fish Rescue. Just contact him. Subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to him over there and everything. I mean, if you guys looking for big fish, why go to the store and buy one when you can go help a rescue? If you have a rescue near you, I think that's a good thing. You know, and go rescue some fish. And some people spend a lot of money trying to find big Oscars sometimes, and it's like, go contact a rescue and you will find some Oscars real quick. You know.
Yeah. You know, there need to be more. There need to be more rescues out there. By the way, just for anybody listening that is thinking, God, I should be a rescue. Yeah, you should be a rescue. But I have one request, and that is, don't be picky. Don't be a rescue that says, well, I want this kind of fish and I don't want that kind of fish because I want this kind of fish to stock my tank. If you're going to be a rescue, be a rescue. Take everybody. Take anything that anybody needs a place to go so that you can then find a way to make that better for them. You know, there are a lot of little people around that I talk to that are like, yeah, well, I rescue fish, but I only want, you know, Texas cichlids, or I only want this particular kind of African cichlid, or I only want, you know, I would love to rescue these fish that are $500. Well, of course you would, but that's not a fish rescue. That's just begging for free fish, right? If you're gonna call yourself a fish rescue, rescue them all, man. I got goldfish that nobody wants. Nobody wants these goldfish. They're beautiful. I like them. They're cool fish. But nobody's going to adopt them. They're 6 foot long gold or 6 inch long goldfish. And maybe somebody would put them in a pond, but nobody's going to adopt them. I know this. So here they are, and I'm going to feed them until they decide not to be fish anymore. You know. But the point is that if you're going to adopt them, if you're going to put yourself out there as a fish rescue, really be one. And then be good, man. There's lots of people that need our help. There should be lots of us out there. At every corner, there should be somebody who's saying, "Yeah, I'll take those fish in." And then when somebody does come along, instead of going to a local fish store and, you know, paying the $14 or $15 or whatever, pay a little adoption fee to keep the people, you know, taking care of fish. There's plenty of fish out there, right? There's millions of it. I'm not saying if there's a specific fish you want, don't go buy it. For God's sake, if there's a fish you want that you know, you'd like to keep, and you're probably not going to find that guy at a rescue, go buy it. But there's also a lot of fish out there.
Now somebody has a good question, because I was going to ask you this question. I hate stupid people said they'll contact you and pay shipping. Are you willing to ship, or would you mail
Absolutely.
them? Have you thought about fish?
We have two programs we're working on. Yes, I would ship out if somebody wants to adopt a fish, and I'm currently working on putting up the adoption part of our website, which, by the way, is flfishrescue.org if you're interested. I am currently building the adoption pages. I just haven't done it yet. But another program we're working on is the send us your fish package, because there's a lot of people that are too far away for me to drive to. Like, I'm not gonna drive all the way across the state to go rescue more tetras. But what I am trying to work out is a box that we can send you through the mail. You know, we'll send you an envelope with a box and the right stuff to ship them back to us, and then you can put them back in that box and send it back to us. They'll make it here. So that's something we're working on too. But you know, everything takes money. So.
Hold on. I'm having a problem on my side. I can't hear you. Give me a second. Can you hear me still?
A little bit. We're kind of getting some
Can you
latency. I
still
don't know
hear
what
me?
it is.
I don't know what it is.
Yeah, it sounded funny to me. Give me
Ah, we lost him. And now it's just me. Hi, guys. I'm still here.
Can you hear me?
Yep, I got you.
Yeah, I don't know what just happened, but okay. Small technical difficulty, but that's fine.
Damn technical difficulties. Yeah, that was a weird one.
Yeah, I had to take myself out and come back in. I'm not sure what happened here and everything. Oh, we got Chubbs in the house. How's Chubbs doing? Everybody hear me fine? I hope you guys hear us just perfect. Now, you were talking about you're trying to get the website and people mail the fish in and stuff. Now, are you going to be charging an adoption fee or because
We do have an adoption
takes,
fee.
It takes
Yeah, because we're
time,
feeding them and we're taking
money
care of them. So, go ahead.
Mm-hmm. No, because
But,
I was saying, it takes money to run a rescue. So, I don't know how you were going to do if you do adoption fee or you just give out your fish just to whoever wants to adopt.
We do an adoption fee, and I'm picky too. Like if you want a big fish, I want photos. You got to show me what the hell you're putting that fish in, because I'm not going to let you take one of my fish and go put it in a 50-gallon tank when it's a 10-pound Oscar. It's just not happening that way. So I am picky. I do want to see where they're going. The way we've kind of managed our adoption fee is that we go 50% of what they would normally be. So if a 8-inch Oscar is going for $100 online, then our adoption fee will be $50. So we just kind of look around and try to stay within a 50% range, because we do want them to be adopted. This isn't just we're sitting on this fish and trying to sell it for the max amount of money. We want people to take these fish and give them good homes. So
Yep.
So that's how we're working that. I'll tell you, you know how our plan is to keep our self-sustained. And I'm sorry, this is a little product plug, but you see this thing? Looks like an ice cream cone. Basically what that is a biological sponge filter plus filter floss filter that I made. And if you go buy a big filter that's going to be able to manage a 50-gallon or 75-gallon tank in a store, you're going to pay $25-$30 for it. Well, so we're doing this whole DIY stuff. You could make it yourself. I call them WDIYs, which is you could DIY it yourself pretty easily, and it would be really cheap, and you could do it, but you won't. So it's a won't do it yourself. And so basically what we're doing is anybody who gives a $30 donation, we'll send one of those filters out to, and shipping included. And then we're also building these big bucket filters as well that are actually move more water than a fluval, and they're the same general concept as an FX6. It's just not as pretty. It's a bucket as opposed to being some black snazzy thing. But it actually moves more water than the fluval does, and you can put the same media in it. I usually put, so we're doing those as well. But that's how we're going to try and sustain ourselves.
Work really, really good. I was saying those bucket filters work really good. Oh yeah,
they do. They work great. I'm actually even building the pumps. So it's basically a 755 motor and impeller that we make, and it all gets put together as PVC, and that gets all inserted into the bucket just perfectly. And we move a lot of water. And then of course you can stick all your filtration in there. They're good stuff.
Oh, you're getting very, very MacGyver with your stuff, huh?
Well, we have to, man. We have to. We don't make a lot of money. We're not selling. We're not buying stuff at $50 and selling it for $400. We're building it. And so if you go buy an FX6, you're going to pay $350 for it unless you manage to get it on Black Friday. But you buy a bucket filter, you can get it for $150, and it works as well as a damn fluval. So why the hell not go that route? Unless you're one of those guys who has to have the prettiest thing, which I accept. But everything we do is DIY around here. I've got a couple of canister filters that I purchased, but that's about it. Everything else is all DIY. I've got a 275-gallon out there. Hi, honey.
I don't know if you can see it. Zach Short, I would love to see your pond. sometime.
Yeah. My buddy Zach is he's a big monster fish keeper, and he has a huge 2,000-gallon pond in his backyard, and he got
Nice.
some. I mean, he got the whole. He even got some arowanas in there. He got some big old fish.
Right. I'd like to know how the hell he's keeping that
Now,
thing warm right now. It got down to 40 degrees last night.
he was a plumber, so he knows what he's doing. He's another MacGyver like you. He knows how to set up stuff. Yeah, he knows how to do all that stuff. He
Right.
knows what he's doing. He's a good monster fish keeper and everything. I like looking at the stuff he got when I go over there. Stuff that I wouldn't keep, but it just interests me. You know, they're cool fish. You know.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I
We
like
got-
any fish. I really do. Somebody gives me a bass, I'll put a bass in a pond. It's whatever.
Joseph told us great stream. Hey, I appreciate you, Joseph, for joining us. We got Chubbs in here, Lori. Now that you're doing this fish rescue and everything, and you're getting more deep into this hobby, but doing it a different way, and you've been seeing what's going on. What's your opinion with the problems we have out here in Florida with invasive species? What's your opinion on
Well,
the whole big
okay,
issue?
so it's serious. It really is serious. I mean, we've got, like I said, I think we talked about it earlier, but there's a lake down in Miami that, and I wish I could remember the name of it, but the lake down in Miami that they're actually paying you to come out there and kill ghost knives. So or I'm sorry, I guess they're clown knives, but somebody dumped a couple of clown knives in that lake, and they have taken over the whole lake. So the regular Florida species just aren't in there anymore. The clown knives have eaten them and fought them off and run them out of that lake. Now that's in a lake, that sucks. But when it gets into the estuaries, so when it gets into the rivers, then it really sucks because you lose entire Florida species. And that happens because, and like I said, I'll never blame anybody for putting their fish in a pond or a river or a lake because they love their fish and they hope that when they put that fish into a pond or a river or a lake, that it's going to survive. And I get that. However, it's really bad for the ecology. It's really bad. It kills all fish. You know, we end up with problems like these clown knives. I mean, or just like the ball pythons and boa constrictors we've got that they're, you know, every year a bunch of hunters go out and try and catch as many of them as they can because they kill the wildlife.
Yeah.
You know, and we have some really incredible species in Florida that get wiped out or nearly wiped out every year because of invasive species. So part of the reason we started a rescue, yes, we really want to help people who have, you know, have to figure out a way to take care of their fish and just can't. But the other side of that is that what are they going to do when they can't take care of the fish and there's nobody there, right? They're going to go put it in the river. They're going to go put it in the lake. And 6 years from now, that fish they dumped in that river is going to wipe out an entire estuary because invasive species do that. So, and this is another reason why I think there should be a freaking fish rescue on every corner. I think people should have somewhere they can take those fish because this happens all the time. It's not something that just happens once in a while. There are people literally every single day that have no idea what to do with their fish, and they have to do something. And, you know, some of them will take them out and, you know, dump all the water out and let them die. Some of them will flush them down a toilet. Some of them are going to take them out in the backyard and dump them in a stream. It's just the way it is. And if we're there to stop that, that cuts back on the amount of fish that get released and potentially stops some of that invasive species problem. And we, you know, can keep our estuaries and our Florida wildlife intact. So it's really important to me. I mean, I grew up here, so.
Yeah, I did too and everything. But another thing that I have read on a lot has been on snakeheads. And the reason they got in Florida was because for eating. They released them in Florida because they want to be able to catch them, you know. And you do have anglers, they do the same thing. They let certain species out for then later on they could try to go catch the largest of that species in that area, and it's invasive and it really takes over.
That's a fact. And unfortunately, those people are just assholes. There's no other way to put that. Those people, that's not love of fish. That's just anglers being bastards and don't care about the ecology of Florida. And those people, as far as I'm concerned, if somebody can find them, they really should go to jail or get a really nice hefty fine for it. But I don't know. How do you catch that guy? You know? But
I mean, it's hard, especially now that they're in there already. You know, it's almost no way of stopping
then you're screwed.
now.
Yeah, exactly. Once they're in, and you know, we can send anglers down like they do with those clown knives and catch 500 of them in a month and kill them all, which really breaks my heart. But they're still going to be there. You know, yeah, maybe you reduce the population, but they still killed off all the bass, and they still killed off all the all the regular Florida species of fish. So you know, once they're in, they're in. So you know, the trick is to keep them out as much as is humanly possible. Now the anglers, I got no power over that. There's nothing I can do. But if you're a guy who's got fish that you've just lost your apartment and you have to get rid of your fish tank, yeah, we're the place to come. Bring them. I'll take care of them. They'll be fine. We'll either find them homes or we'll feed them until they've lived out their lives, whatever.
R&B Animal said, when I lived down there, my old neighbor used to let birds go. I mean, we could get real deep into all the different types of animals are loose down here. Yeah. I mean, you see so much different, and it has changed. Growing up down here, you have seen the changes.
Absolutely. You know those gray lizards you see everywhere? Those gray lizards aren't from here. Those gray lizards are Africanized freaking lizards. They just took over. And we used to see those green chameleons that changed color. Do you remember those guys? I don't know how long you've been here, but when I was a kid, we had these green chameleons all over the place. They were amazing, and they changed color. If you got one on your hand, it would change color to your hand. They were cool. You don't see those guys anymore, ever. And they were everywhere. But those Africanized gray lizards, man, they came in and wiped them out. And now there are these pink geckos that have shown up down from South America that somebody let loose 10 years ago. And those are starting to kind of destroy the gray lizard population. So, by the time we finally get to the end of that, who knows what it'll be? We'll probably have those big googly-eyed guys hanging around everywhere. I don't know. But
look at the iguanas.
It should be kind of cool. Huh?
Look at the iguanas, how they have taken over.
Yeah. Florida's, well, everything grows here, right? Everything grows here. Anything you release in Florida is going to grow. It's going to live. It's going to be fine. You do that up in Michigan, they're going to die because it's going to get freaking cold. But down here, everything, you let it go, it's going to live. And, so anyway, we just try to keep the fish out. I can't do the lizards and the snakes and the birds and everything else, but I can keep the fish out. Or at least I can try.
Full animal rescue after we're done with you.
Man, God, that's fine, but y'all people are gonna have to start donating because I can't afford that shit.
All the problems in Florida, they're gonna contact you next with iguanas and snakes and scorpions.
Yeah. Well, I will take water animals. If somebody wants to send turtles, I'll take turtles. And if somebody comes up with newts, I'll take newts. But yeah, I'm not ready for the birds and the no freaking zebras or freaking giraffes. I'm not going there yet. Sorry.
Oh yeah, you got a lot of those big animal rescues down here too.
Yeah, there are those guys. We got a lot of crazy ones too, for that matter. But the big cat rescues, they're not freaking rescues. I don't care what anybody says. They're not rescues. They just want a zoo. And if you're buying a freaking tiger from Africa and or from Zimbabwe or whatever, and bringing it over here and then calling it a rescue, it's not a freaking rescue. And I decided to open a zoo and bring a cat in. But whatever. People do stuff.
Hey, you can do the next thing. You go open up an aquarium and start charging the neighborhood kids $1 to walk through the house and see the fish.
We could. And, I will probably never actually charge people, but I'll take donations. If somebody comes in and says, here's a $10 bill, I'm not going to say, oh, no, thanks. My hurricane ruined ceiling doesn't need that $10, whatever.
Yes, what happened there?
Oh, man, it's a long story, but so we had a drip. And it was just a little drip, and so we hired a handyman to come over and fix the drip. and he did. And so there was a patch, and it was kind of a shoddy patch. It was a patch, but it was kind of shoddy. But anyway, so the hurricane came along and rained it through, and my ceiling caved in the bathroom and partly in the living room. And the insurance company came out and said, "Oh, look, somebody fixed that wasn't a professional, so screw you, we're not paying you." So I've got $14,000 worth of repairs that I don't know what the hell I'm going to do about them. Currently have my roof covered in a tarp, hoping that we don't have any major rainstorms in the next couple of months. But but yeah, insurance sucks. I don't like the way they handle things. They said, well, it wasn't caused directly by the hurricane. Well, yeah, I mean, I had a drip. Now I have a hole. I think that was caused directly by a hurricane. Anyway, that's how that goes. That's how that goes.
We got Raul in the house. We got IFG in the house. How's everybody doing? Thank you for joining us. They over here busting jokes in the chat room. I'm sorry. I'm over here looking. Somebody said,
I can't see
somewhere.
it. So. I'm all right.
What's good, guys? Thanks for joining us. Now we get towards the end and everything. I don't really like staying over an hour on my live stream and everything because I really appreciate you giving me an hour of your time and everybody just joining us, watching this live stream, giving us an hour. But right now towards the end, I like to ask everybody, if you have one good piece of advice to give everybody right now, what would that be?
DIY everything. That is my number one piece of advice. DIY everything. There is nothing you can't make that you can go out and buy for 5 times as much as it'll cost you to make it. You can make your canister filters. You can make your sponge filters. You can get your own substrate and not have to pay the freaking fish stores to do it. I mean, DIY everything. Black sand is $8 a bag if you know where to look. Regular bottom sand is $7.50 a bag if you know where to look. Like, there is nothing in this hobby you can't do yourself. You can build freaking tanks out of plywood, and they are beautiful. You just have to be willing to put a little bit of effort into it. My number one take on everything is figure out a way to do it, and don't let anybody else tell you how it's supposed to be done. I have a household water heater outside running my 2 pools, keeping my fish at 75 degrees when it's 42 degrees outside right now. And I'm telling you, there are lots of people who would have told me to go out and buy 50 freaking aquarium water heaters and dump them in those pools, and that would have just been ludicrous. So DIY it all, man. You can make anything, and if you can't DIY it yourself, pay a craftsman that will DIY it for you, and they're still going to charge you half what it's going to cost you to go to a local fish store and buy the same thing. That's my advice. That and love your damn fish.
IFG just came in, but he wanted to know how many monster fish are you housing right now?
We define monster. I've got I have a 3-foot long red-tailed cat. I've got 6 20+ inches pacu. I've got a couple of iridescent sharks that I would say are pretty damn big. I've got a clown knife that's a good 24 inches long. I have a vulture catfish that's 24 inches long. quite a few Oscars that are pretty big. Hell, I got a 24-inch long freaking koi over here. So define monster, I guess.
Now you was talking about the DIY. We're gonna see you do more of that on your channel because that would be interesting. Showing us what you're doing. You was telling me a little bit about what you did with the water heater. Explain to me how you came up with this whole household water heater to warm up your outside.
Man, I needed hot water. It comes right down to that. I needed hot water. This cold snap was coming in. I got 2 pools out there. There are 3,000 gallons of water between the 2 of them, and I had to get them warm. So the best thing I could come up with was a household water heater, which I managed to get somebody to donate. And actually, I'd like to tell that story because there are some people I'd like to thank for that. But anyway, somebody donated a household hot water heater. We stuck some PVC on it. We suck the water out of one of the pools up into the hot water heater and dump it out of another piece of PVC back into the pool, and it's keeping them at a perfect 74 degrees, even if it's 42 degrees out right now. So,
Okay.
you know, it's still a little chilly, and I could probably crank it up, but I'm afraid that I'm going to crank it up too much and end up with fish soup. So we're not going to do that. But yeah, just stuck it down to its lowest setting, and so far everybody's okay. So
That's good.
yeah, I mean, and I also another thing we had donated was a pool heater. Unfortunately, the pool heater's got an electrical issue, and I haven't figured out how to fix it yet. Though it would do a much better job, I think, than the household hot water heater, because it's a lot of water, you know, and it's probably costing me a fortune. Whereas the pool water heater would probably do it in 45 minutes, and then I could let it turn itself off and turn it back on again. Whereas at the household hot water heater, it's just a go, you know. So. But it's working, and it's keeping everybody alive, and everybody's fine, and with the exception of that catfish that I can't seem to get to eat, everybody's in good shape. But yeah, when it comes to DIY, go ahead, brother.
Zach just said a 1800 watt cattle truffle heater off Amazon is what he uses for 2,000 gallon pond. And then Raul was asking how big are the pond again outside that you have?
They're pretty damn big. They're probably about 3,000 gallons between the two of them. So they're two. I guess they're what 18 by 11 or something, or 18 by 12, and then 3 foot tall. So it's a lot of freaking water. I never really did the calculation, but it's a lot of freaking water.
Oh man, yeah. What pump are you using to pump into the water heater?
Man, it's just a power head. It's a 4,000 gallon an hour power head, pond power head. And I just hooked it up with some PVC and up into the water heater and back down out of the water heater. That's it.
That was clever. You got on your MacGyver thing there too. Yeah, I mean that'd be interesting to you show that on the channel, because I never thought that I could use a home water heater, to warm up some ponds outside. Never thought of that, and that'd be interesting for you to have that type of material on your channel.
Yeah, I put up a little bit about it. I mean, like I put up a thank you that shows it. I didn't. The only reason I didn't record it is because I was actually in an emergency. I was terrified that I was going to lose fish the next day, and I didn't have time to get somebody to stand out there with a camera to do it. However, I am building a 275 gallon canister filter out of a food grade water canister that we picked up. And I will be building that this week, and I will definitely have my niece out there recording that so we can put that up on the channel. It's a big, bad canister filter. And I finally got it. So the reason I didn't do it already is I was waiting for these stupid seals to come in the mail. They're just these little rubber seals. They're like bulkheads, but instead of being twisty bulkheads that have a couple of washers on them and you have to tighten them down, you literally just cut a perfect hole, pop it in there, and then jam the PVC in there, and it creates a perfect seal. I love these things. But anyway, I was waiting for those to come in the mail, and now that I've got them, I can go out there and finish building this thing. But it's 275 gallons of constant water flow using a sand filter pump. And every week or so, I'm going to put some more lava rock in it, put some more sand in it, and more substrate in it, so that we end up with a deep substrate filter that hopefully creates a no oxygen zone underneath the substrate that will eat the nitrogen, so I don't have to do as many water changes on those big pools. But
okay, we got two last questions. Two last quick questions. GRB Aquatics said, as a fish rescue, do you get some of your utilities subsidized?
No, we pay lots of money.
and then IFG said that, because IFG's coming down here to Florida, I think he said in December or this month, something like that. So he said if he could come visit the rescue, and if you're ready for him to come by. Yeah,
man, just give us a call. That way my wife can feel like she's comfortable, and otherwise, if you just show up, she's not going to be in her best, and she's going to be really pissy about it. But if you give us a call ahead of time, we'll give you time to come by.
Yeah, I mean, all his information is on Facebook. He got a Facebook page, Florida Fish Rescue. He's on YouTube, and you said Twitter, so everybody go subscribe to his channel, check him out. If you're in the area, you could help them out with anything that you don't need. They could help them with the rescue. Contact. If you need a big fish, contact him. Anything like that. And oh yeah, he said he'll never. Oh, I'll never just show up. He's gonna hit you up. So
I appreciate that, folks.
so I would like to tell you thank you for joining us on the show
Hey,
and
man,
everything.
thanks for having me on.
Man, it's been a pleasure. It's been good talking to you and everything, and getting to know more about the rescue and actually sharing and spreading the word of what you're doing. You know, hold on.
I appreciate you, brother.
They leave
This is
it
how
all
we do, you know.
Mm-hmm. Well, everybody, thank you. I appreciate you guys for joining us. And like always, everybody have a blessed night. Thank you for joining us at Royal Fish Aquatics. Looks like it wants to end, but it's not ending.
Yeah, it's not ended. No, we're still here, man.
Yeah, we're still here. It keeps.
All right,
It
so.
keeps. It must not want us to finish. It's like, okay,
I
the
guess
live
not,
show
man.
was so good.
Well, listen, I still have coffee and cigarettes. So as long as I have coffee and cigarettes, we can I'm good,
We could
man.
go all night.
I'm good. I'm good.
Everybody's saying thank you, good night for joining us, but we're still here.
Thanks, guys. You know what? I tell you what. Here, I'll take you for a quick tour. As long as we're still just sitting here doing nothing.
It's an encore.
Very much.
No
So here
problem.
we go. Let's take a look at the cichlid tank.
Thank you.
He heard you, man. He said no problem. You're all good.
Oh, I like the albino one. He put.
Yeah, they're sweethearts, man. We're getting there. We're getting there. No, don't worry about our natural tanks. That's the way it looks. All right, let me unplug here. Look at that 400 gallon. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. I need help taking the damn stand apart and getting it in this freaking little place. So if anybody wants to come over and help me build the damn stand, feel free. And let's see, we got some gouramis in there.
All the lights are off.
Some gouramis in there.
Nighttime.
And then check out this puffer. I love this guy. He
Oh,
is
that's pretty
freaking
cool.
Right?
And slow.
And then there's, remember I was telling you about
Sweet
that
face.
that French, oh, where'd he go?
No.
French angel. He doesn't like seeing himself in the camera. That's really funny.
He doesn't.
That is really funny. Do you see that? Hey, by the way, if anybody knows what the heck this guy is right here, somebody tell me, because I cannot figure out what he is. I don't know what he is, man. I have no idea. Oh, we're getting there. We're getting there.
All the pictures are dark though, because it's nighttime.
Yeah, you know, let me flip on the light. Let's flip on the light so we can kind of see a little better. All right. And there's the koi tank. I don't know if you can see him. It's really dark in there. But like I said, we got a bunch of goldfish to go with the koi that we didn't really intend on, but there they are, hanging out. And then over here, there's some of the big guys. Those guys are the iridescent sharks. They came in like 3 weeks ago.
Somebody said that fish is a female Antineus. Antius.
Antius?
Yeah, 2 people said it's an Antius.
Okay. I'm interested. I'll go look that up.